Hey, Wedding Confessionals listeners, it's Brooke. Just coming in early to let you know that our night with David went a little long, so we ended up cutting it up into 2 episodes. So what you're about to hear is part 1, where we dive into David's history of weddings, including his really sweet and funny proposal to Heather Woodward, who's also been on the show before. And then we also dive into his wedding. So stay tuned for that. And then at the end of this episode, Pam and I are going to pop back in and give you some bridal breaks to get you through the week. So stay tuned and enjoy.
Something borrowed, something blue. Give us all your juicy news, sensational, irrational. It's Wedding Confessionals.
Okay, we are recording now. Welcome to Eyeball Talk.
That's my
Gross.
podcast.
Oh my God. We could dedicate an entire hour to just talking about not wanting things going near our eyeballs.
Anything,
I'm glad I'm not alone in that weird phobia.
Yes.
Trigger warning to anyone hearing this
Yeah.
and hates eyeball stuff. Ugh.
Ooh.
Anyway, so I think I'm going to leave this in. Fuck it. Welcome to Wedding Confessionals. I'm Brooke.
And I'm Pam.
The only thing we love more than weddings
Is talking about talking shit about weddings.
you're going to say about eyeballs?
That too. Second glass of wine.
Yep.
It's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a long night. So we have a guest, Pam.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to talk about other stuff. I don't have any other things. We were talking about eyeball stuff. We'll talk about that for a second. Why not? But we'll bring in our guest first. Hi, say hi, David.
Hi, David. Yeah, nailed it. Nailed it. You guys, this is already going great.
I love it.
So officially introducing you as animator, illustrator, and comedy guy, David Kantrowitz.
Hi.
You've worked on At Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
You worked on I Love You America with Sarah Silverman, which is coming back.
It is.
And also, more importantly, probably your biggest gig to date.
Yes.
You created our new logo.
I did.
You did.
I did
Yay.
that.
Killed it, bro.
Thanks.
And
Thanks, bros.
also, you are the newly minted husband of a former guest of ours,
Yes.
Heather Woodward.
Yeah.
She came on to talk about building up to the wedding that you guys were going to have for New Year's Eve.
That was the prequel.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
happened.
Spoiler alert. We had a wedding.
You went through with it.
Yeah.
Congrats, man.
Hey, thanks. I was saying off mic that this is maybe the perfect time for me to like get into it, to talk about the wedding, because it like enough time has passed since New Year's where I like can sort of like look at it with like maybe some perspective, but also it was recent enough where I remember all of it. So what I'm saying is you guys nailed it with the timing of this.
Us texting you and saying,
Yeah.
sup, want to come on?
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
were like, yeah. So, but really quick, I do want to talk about the eyeball thing because we talked about it briefly beforehand. And it really is something that came up recently.
Yeah.
Because I
It's a
bitched
thing.
about my dentist appointment before and I had to get new eyeglasses. I didn't have to. I wanted to get new eyeglasses. It had been about 2 years. I thought I was seeing fine, but you should go.
Every year.
But is it every year?
It is.
Yeah, I go every 2 years. Maybe I should, I don't know.
That's why your doctors don't like you.
No, well, usually my normal doctor likes me fine, but he was out of town, so I got some filling guy, and we just were not jiving. It was one of those things where, you know how they show you, you know, with they put the little like, kind of mock glasses thing in front of you, and then they go A or B.
Yeah.
A or B. And he wouldn't go A, click, B. He
What
would
was he
go
doing?
A, B, click. And I'd be like, wait,
What?
am I looking at B or am I looking at A? He's like
Trying to
showing you
outsmart
A
you.
the whole time.
Also-
it felt like I was being trolled. And I'm like, B?
Also, do you have a weird feeling that like there's a right answer and that you're fucking up?
Yes.
Oh, I am convinced I'm making myself more blind
Yeah.
with every
Yes.
decision.
Yeah.
I always say it with a question mark too. I'm like, A?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and this guy was really confusing. And like, I think maybe they were just behind schedule and he was trying to just go quickly. Or maybe he's used to dealing with people that come in every 6 months or a year, but I didn't have glasses as a kid. Glasses are pretty new for me. I think this is my third eye appointment in my entire life. So I'm like, I don't really remember how all this stuff works. And he's just going to throw in the things in front of me and put your chin here and blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember. And I'm like, and then when we got to the quiz of A or B,
You failed.
He set me up for failure. I don't know. The new glasses are fine.
Oh no.
I don't know. I think so.
Oh no. It's weird. It's weird that there's like no definitive answer to. What am I trying to say? There's like
to A or B.
Yeah, I feel like they should just be able to shoot a laser at your eye, and a computer should tell you how bad your eyes are.
Yes.
But instead, it's up to me, and I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Glasses are a choose your own adventure.
Yes.
God, that's horrifying.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
So we were discussing this because we were talking about eyeballs and like touching
The poof.
eyeballs. And the little
blow
poof
air.
blow
Yeah.
thing. And the guy, we gotten through the terrible eye AB thing where I think I chose glasses that'll work. Who knows? And then they wanted to do the other stuff. And again, I don't remember. And he's like, well, it's time to put this in your eye and this in your eye. And I'm like, I'm driving. Is that okay? Like, and I'm asking a lot of questions.
That's
and
another thing. I always forget that, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to wear sunglasses for the next 5 hours or something after they.
No. And I was like, and then after he did the drops in the eye, and then he wanted to do the thing where the thing gets close to my eye, and he's like, okay, don't move. And I'm like, good luck, bro. And it got to the point where he just said, we're just going to skip this part. So I hope,
So you were super
Fail.
squirmy.
yeah, I was so squirmy because you said you're squirmy too.
I'm very squirmy. Yeah, I have a weird phobia thanks to a childhood trauma.
Oh my God. Can you tell us about it? Because it's really gross.
Yeah, it's very gross. Oh, okay, so first of all, I don't know what this thing is that hit me in the face that led to me getting stitches right above my eye. It was like a tennis ball sized ball on a long elastic string, and then on the other end of the string was like a stake to put in the ground.
Oh.
And so the sharp part of that stake went soaring into my face.
Oh my God. How old were you?
Geez.
Preschool.
Oh my gosh.
Just
Little guy.
me and a preschool friend in his backyard fucking around.
Unattended.
Unattended.
Sharp object.
It was real bad, and like I almost lost my eye.
Oh my God.
'Cause
Oh my God.
it's-
So close.
It was like right here. So yes, but so
Right
I,
where? Tell us what the podcasting people. You just pointed at
podcast
your
folks,
eye.
podcast folks. Imagine the area like sort of close to the bridge of your nose, like between the bridge of your nose and your actual eye, basically.
Just under your eyebrow.
Yeah, right under my eyebrow. So it was very close. I almost straight up don't have an eye.
Did you have to go to the
So
ER?
that's crazy.
Like
No,
immediately?
not right away.
Okay.
But then I did have to get stitches pretty soon after, but they didn't put me under. So like I was sobbing my face off while like I saw a needle get close to my eyeball and like go in and out doing the stitches, and it was traumatizing, and I think that's why I have a weird eyeball phobia.
You have an excuse. Brooke
I
does
also
not.
just realized Heather's not going to listen to this episode because she has the same type of like eyeball.
Oh God.
No.
And we like,
Wait, did she have a trauma too?
she doesn't, but like when we watch, I'm not even going to say it because I know she's going to listen to this and then she's going to be like, why did you talk about it?
Talk about it. I was telling her to
But, like,
fast forward. Heather.
Pause.
Heather, I need you to just hit the 15-second button 4 times.
Okay, ready?
Go.
Okay, so you know, like in like shows like The Walking Dead or whatever, where like
Yeah.
characters will get stabbed in the eye.
Yes.
Heather can't handle that shit. She like really like it makes her physically ill, and
Yeah.
like we have to turn off the TV and like check in with each other.
Does she pass out?
No, but it's like it's a major
Affects her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a roommate that would, if she saw blood in a movie, would pass out.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that-
We never
that
saw any of those
really-
movies, and she went out of her
She
way
has
to
this
not.
chocolate sauce, right?
She went out of her way to not. Behind the scenes.
Whoa. Not everybody lives in Hollywood.
I know. Hey. But I didn't witness this, but she once was like sitting in a movie theater and saw that it was like gonna get gory and was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. But was in the middle of the theater. So she has to like, excuse me, get around people. And she finally got out of the aisle and she went to like stand up like normal and then saw the screen and all the blood and just passed out on the aisle.
Oh no.
I
Oh
know.
my God.
That severely limits what movies you can see.
Yeah. Well, you just don't see gore. Yeah. But yeah.
Ooh. Wow.
Anyway.
So
eyeballs.
welcome back. Welcome back,
Wow.
Heather.
Yeah.
Hey Heather, welcome back to the episode, and welcome everyone to the wedding podcast where we sometimes talk about
Weird
weddings.
shit.
It's fine. We like to mix it up. Okay, so we do want to get into David's stuff. So if you are new to Wedding Confessionals, welcome to a weird ass intro. The show works is that we have listeners send in their confessionals, and they're all anonymous, and they're asking sometimes for advice, and other times they're just venting. And we have on a guest every week. So we have our guest help us look at the confessionals, read them, and answer them if necessary. So before we do that, we like to kind of dive into your personal history with weddings to figure out who you are, so we
Yeah.
understand your perspective.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we sort of have a preview if you listen to Heather's episode, because we got a little bit of the proposal, but she saved a little bit because she wants you to sort of explain it. So, but we're not even going to get to that yet. We're going to dive all the way back to when you were a wee boy.
My wee boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe I was 2.5 years old at the
When you went to your first wedding?
I ever
What?
attended. Yeah.
Really?
It was my Uncle Dennis.
Oh.
Uncle Dennis.
And then I think my next wedding was Uncle Dennis again. There was a period of time in my life where I thought weddings just happened to Uncle Dennis.
That's amazing.
There was maybe the chronology of that might not be true. I think that
Go with it, though. It's
Yeah.
so good. As an anecdote.
but yeah, Uncle Dennis's first wedding was in Long Beach. I don't remember it. I was 2.5 years old. I think the first one that I like actually remember was in New York, and it was like my first time traveling there as a kid.
Cool.
And it was
In New York City, the wedding
New York
was?
City, yeah,
Wow.
in some like old cool hotel.
Why did he go from California to New York?
Sorry, no, that one was not Uncle Dennis.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
You just assume maybe was Uncle Dennis also there? Was it a family member?
Uncle Dennis was there, yeah.
Okay.
So either
You're like, why aren't you on stage, man? This is your thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Uncle Dennis, I do remember his wedding in Yosemite. That was cool.
Wow.
But I was also pretty young for that.
I like that.
You went to a lot of weddings as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't want to brag, guys, but I'm going to be great on this podcast.
Did you like them as a kid?
I
you
did.
care?
For Uncle Dennis's Yosemite wedding, I was the ring bearer, and I was nervous about it. But there was no like formal processional or whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just sat holding the ring until they were like, "Now we need the ring," and then I got up and gave it to them. It was very low key, but
You didn't lose it.
But I got stressed about it. Yeah.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's a lot of responsibility.
So when you were the ring bearer, is this before or after the eyeball incident?
After.
Okay, so you're like a man then.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've seen things.
Yeah.
You're forever changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost didn't
Was
see
that in your
things.
little speech you gave afterwards?
Yeah. That'd be so bad if I thought ring bearer meant you get to make a speech.
We should let the ring bearers
I think
give
ring bears
speech.
should have speeches.
That's a good idea. David's like,
I would have
"No."
been like, as I look past on my 8 years of life, I just realized you have a party or not a party favor. What's it called? One of our table decoration guys.
Yes, and
Oh,
there's
yeah.
one over there too.
Oh man,
That's the one you gave me at your house.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yes.
forced
And this
it
is
upon
the
you.
one that I took from the actual wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Heather had explained that you guys were in the process of doing this.
Yeah.
You're jumping, but that's okay. God
I'm
damn
so
it.
sorry.
No, it's fine.
I literally
Explaining.
saw a shiny object and I got distracted.
bright shiny
No, but I
object.
think it's fun that the room where we record the wedding podcast has pieces from someone's wedding. I thought it was really
Yeah.
cool.
It does.
Yeah.
So, but Heather had explained before that you guys just took cool objects that you liked and spray painted them gold, and that's what you used to decorate the tables.
For our centerpiece. What do you call them? What's the proper
I
term?
guess centerpiece.
Centerpiece? I don't know. Yeah, we basically went to like every Goodwill near us and bought a lot of weird porcelain tchotchkes and spray painted them gold and and I think it turned out cool.
I think it's really cool.
They're
It looked
really
cool.
fun.
It did. It
Yeah.
did. Don't do that ever again when you jump. How
I'm so
dare you.
sorry.
Just kidding.
It was-
Could you imagine this is the part of the podcast where I yell at you?
While I was talking, I was like, why is that familiar to me?
Right?
Oh, because it was in my wedding.
You're like, because I labored over that
Yeah,
piece.
because I spray painted that.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that little guy. I think he was my favorite.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put it up on the Instagram so you can see what
Great.
Yes.
Yeah, there's nothing better for a podcast than talking about visual things.
It's fine. So you went to Yosemite.
Okay, yeah.
So we've only gotten
Uncle
to
Dennis.
age like 7 then, right? We're pretty young.
Yeah. Okay, and then I think after that was the New York one, and that was cousins who lived in Amsterdam, but then had their wedding here.
Okay.
And that I believe that was my first time going to New York, and that was just a really fun trip.
Yeah.
Did you go to more as a little kid, or then we just going to?
After that, I
Adulthood.
don't really. Yeah,
Everyone was
Teen.
married in
there
the
was
family.
there was a lull,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Well, that's kind of what happens usually.
Yeah.
Just depending on how you fall on the age group of people in your family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's kind of like, oh, everyone's hitched up and they got to wait for them to have babies and then they get married.
Yeah.
It's cynical, but it's true.
Circle of life.
Yeah. Does
that apply?
Sure.
Great.
So did you go to a lot like in your 20s?
Yes. It felt like there was a period of time where there was one every weekend. That's an exaggeration. But there
Really?
was-
In your
Wow.
20s?
yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
from originally, you're like born and bred in LA.
In LA,
You're
yeah.
a city kid.
I'm a
Yeah.
city boy.
Well, because a lot of times we've found that if you're from a bigger city, that everyone gets married later.
30s, not 20s.
Oh.
But maybe because people are already living in LA.
Yeah,
Was it
and
your
also
local friends?
there was a good amount of traveling.
Okay.
That was like a stressful part of it, where it was like, oh, it's so cool that all of our friends are getting married, but also it means we're traveling so much.
Yeah. It's expensive.
It's expensive to attend a wedding and to have a wedding. What a
True.
racket, you guys.
I know. So, did you ever say no?
To
Like,
weddings?
Yeah, if it was expensive.
No.
You always went?
There were a handful of times I said no to a wedding because there was another one I already had committed to.
Okay.
Oh,
There were a few of those.
You're kind of a
wow,
popular
you're so
guy.
Popular.
I
Yeah.
don't want to brag, but
Kind of cool.
yeah. Yes, very cool. Yeah, that happened like kind of recently, where a very good friend of mine in the LA comedy community, I couldn't go to his wedding, and he asked me to be part of the wedding party, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I wish, cause I love you, but I already said yes to an old college friend who is getting married." It just sucks.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
Are you guys still friends, or are you just like screw you forever?
we had a falling. No, I'm just kidding.
I know,
That's
like,
not
what
a
can you
joke.
do?
That's not a joke though on this podcast, because
No,
that
that happens.
That
happens
has
all the
happened.
time because of weddings.
Ugh, that's so dumb. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess whatever. It shows you.
But the good thing was, like, I took part in like all other stuff that happened locally.
That's cool.
So yeah,
yeah, I mean, you can't make them all.
yeah. What are you gonna do?
What can you do?
It's just like the most important day of your life. Whatever.
Terrible.
So of all the weddings that you've been to, have you ever been a part of it, like groomsman or best man?
No, and I actually,
Really?
yeah, I actually on a few occasions have been offended that I wasn't. But
Did
then,
No,
did
this
you come on to
happens.
air those grievances?
yeah, I'm gonna call people out.
Let's get them on the phone.
Get
Put
the
them on
list.
speaker.
Yeah. But then like I would see how stressed out people in the wedding party were, and I would be like, "Oh, I'm good. It's okay." I
It
actually
is.
do.
It's kind of a weird thing because on one hand, it's cool to be like inner circle and feel so close to somebody, but on the other hand,
That's a lot of
just
work.
being a wedding guest is rad.
Yeah,
because
it's-
you usually still get invited to the like bachelorette party,
Yeah.
like all the fun stuff without any of the work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the sweet
so I like
spot.
that. But there was a wedding I went to where my friend's mom, I didn't see, and like I'm friends with her because I'm such good friends with her son. That's a weird way to put it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And so she
crazy.
saw
You're-
me.
You're an adult.
Yeah. So she saw me and we hugged, and she was like, all weekend long I kept saying, "Where's David? Why isn't he here?" And I was kind of like,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Good question.
Yeah. Weird, right?
You and me both, Mom. You and me both.
But again, like
Ouch.
it was kind of nice that I didn't have to like run around and be stressed and do a bunch of favors.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's hard,
Yeah.
but I mean, interesting.
Yeah.
I think you're very reliable.
Whatever, guys.
Listen, if things don't work out between Tristan and I
Yeah.
do this again, you'll be on the short list.
All right, cool.
Not you, Pam.
Clearly.
Oh no. All right.
We're breaking up tonight.
I know.
This is the
It's
final
fine.
episode.
Wow.
You guys are listening to the
And-
final
Wow.
episode of Wedding Confessionals.
Just want to say I'm honored that season finale.
Series finale.
Series.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Things are going to make a comeback, so it'll be like a year, and then we'll be like, "Oh, let's revisit this."
Do a reboot?
Oh my God, another reboot.
Oh boy.
So
It's
many.
not going
reboots.
anywhere.
No, it's fine. We've talked about everybody else's weddings. Really want to dive into.
Yes.
First of all, Heather was kind of vague about the proposal.
That's yeah.
So she said that it was very specifically personal to her.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of the gist of what we got. And she
That's
said when she
it.
tried to explain it to people, they were at times confused. Is that true?
It's like
Can you
a
explain it to us and
I
we would
will.
afterwards
He's
feel
smiling. I
excited
love it.
about it?
Yeah,
Kind of give us your perspective.
because it's like
Okay, go.
it's like not a succinct
Wait.
story. So get
Stop.
ready. What?
What?
Oh, wait, we already talked on her episode about how you guys met. I was just making sure we didn't talk about how you guys met, but
Oh,
she
yeah,
already
yeah.
did it.
She covered
Listen to
that.
Heather's episode.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you first met her?
Yes.
Were
yeah.
you wowed from the get-go?
I was. Yeah. I had a moment
Did
where
you have
I
a
was
crush
like,
from day
I was
one?
like, play it cool. Yeah, I have a distinct memory of that of being like, whoa, these are very pretty eyes. Don't move.
Aww.
I remember remember
Don't
being
move?
like, yeah, it was like play it cool. Oh my God, these eyes are very David, be cool. Be cool.
Get a little sweaty.
Mm-hmm. Is it hot in here? But yeah, the proposal like is just not easily summarized.
I have a question.
Yes.
Wait, I'm going to back it up just because
Sorry,
it's
yeah,
so
back
good
it
to
up.
get somebody in the room that is actually the one that did the proposing, because sometimes we don't get to talk to that person.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys have been dating for a couple years. Were you living together at that
We
point?
were living together, yeah.
What was the moment where you were like, I'm going to lock this down? Like, what was the spark that made you decide that? Did you guys have a conversation or was there just a moment? Did
We
you
definitely-
buy a ring and like have it for a long time? How did that work?
It was out there. I don't remember like the talk where we first brought it up, but it was out there where we were like, yeah, we're serious about this and marriage is definitely a thing in our future. But yeah, I don't remember that being like a big talk. It just was a thing that came up at some point. But oh man, what movie were we watching? We were watching some movie where somebody proposed with a ring that had been in his family for a while, and it made Heather tear up, and she was like, just so you know, my family has rings like that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
All right.
To self.
Yes.
Oh man, what movie
Family
was that?
Stone?
No, but that sounds like what it should be. Fuck, I don't remember what movie it was. Anyway, but then I got a very sweet email from her dad that was like, Heather mentioned that there's a ring that you might be interested in. Here's a photo of it. See attached. Let me know if you would, quote unquote, find it useful.
Oh
my God.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, this is great. I don't have to buy a ring.
Yeah.
And clearly, Mr. Woodward is down.
He's
Yes.
good. Yep, you got his approval.
So yeah, but then like I also like sent him a sweaty reply where I was like,
Sweaty.
I was like, oh,
Don't move.
thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. I guess that, you know this means that I'm gonna, that with your blessing, I want to like if you could stammer in email form, that's what I was doing. But so he shipped it out to me, which is like
Really?
pretty crazy
'Cause he lives in New
because
Jersey and
he
you
lives
guys
in
live
New
in LA,
Jersey.
yeah.
Yeah. But then once I had it, I was like, okay, well, what am I fucking waiting for? So Heather and I are very good at like taking little quick California getaways, taking the time to do that with each other. And we had done a bunch that were like perfect romantic weekends. Like I think our very first one was Santa Barbara. It's a fucking classic.
Sure.
Great.
Classic romantic getaway.
Yep.
In like a perfect bed and breakfast. And we've like basically exhausted all bed and breakfasts in the Santa Ynez Valley.
Nice.
But one that was left on the list was Los Alamos. And I had seen, I think via Instagram, like a cool, like sort of hip, updated motel.
The Alamos?
The Alamo, yeah.
I've been trying to get a room there.
Oh, is it hard?
It is very hard.
Oh, well, we went
Oh.
like in the middle of the week.
Yes, that's the only thing that's available.
Yeah.
It's so hip.
It's very
The
hip.
girl that does my hair, shout out Katie at the Hive. She's the one that told me about it. And
Shout
ever
out.
since, I have been trying to... I didn't realize it was there. Sorry. It's a really
Oh.
good spot.
No, it's all right. It's a great
And when
spot.
she said
Wow.
Los Alamos, I was like, oh, it's on my list.
Here's the thing, though.
It's
that
a cool hotel.
It's a very cool little motel. That town is tiny.
It's nothing.
Oh yeah.
And they very much cater to a weekend crowd. So when you go on like a Wednesday, which I believe is when we arrived,
Yeah.
there wasn't a ton to do, and it was not. So like the entire day, our first day, I had the ring in my pocket, and I like didn't have a plan. I just was like, well, every other trip we've been on has been perfect, and like we're full of moments that would have been great for a proposal. So I'm just gonna wing it because I believe in the beauty and majesty of California. But this town was like too tiny, and like part of its appeal is it's off the beaten path and like a little less known than like these other.
Which on a weekend is nice because then it means it's not crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Right.
nice.
But on a Wednesday, like most places were closed because they were like, we don't get people here until the fucking weekend.
Right.
And it's like maybe 2 blocks of stores and restaurants and things.
Yeah.
So we like just sort of walked around on like an overcast gray day, and there's this ring burning a hole in my jacket pocket, and I'm like, isn't this nice? And then in my brain, I'm like, fuck. But then we went. The night ended with us going back to the motel, and like each room has a bottle of wine in it. So we were like, this is great. Oh, and they had like a cute little fire pit. So I was like, this is awesome. I'm gonna do it at the fire pit. We're the only people at this motel right now, so like it's good. And they were like,
How shining of you.
yeah. Yeah. And there were very, very spooky. No, but it was like an adorable little area. I think there was like even like a tiny somewhat kitschy waterfall and like Christmas lights and around this fire pit. So it was very cute. But it had rained the night before, and I could not for the life of me get the fire started.
Oh no.
And Heather definitely saw me like stressing out and like running around and being like, I'm going to look for newspaper. I'm going to find newspaper somewhere. And she was like, it's fine. We could drink it in the room. And I was like, no, we're going to.
Got to be by the fire.
We're going to sit by the fire and it's going to be good.
Romantic.
Oh my god.
And this
I am a provider. I have to show
Yeah.
this to you tonight.
yeah. And this motel like has little like matchbooks with the hotel name on them. So I like grabbed a bunch of those, and like there was a woman at the front desk, and I was like, do you have any paper for kindling? And she was like, kindling. She was like, there's like these receipts I'm gonna throw away. And I was like, fine.
Oh my god.
But it wasn't enough to get the fire started, and so like we had to give up and just go inside, and we like had a glass and then went to bed, and then I did not sleep. And I like second guessed myself a bunch, and I was like, is this what I get for not planning? Like, should I have planned an elaborate thing? Which is crazy because Heather would never want that, and I know that about her. But I was like, am I doing this wrong? I was like, this should have happened by now. What the fuck is going on? So then early next morning, she like sort of groggily rolled over and was like, how'd you sleep? And I said, not well, because I was thinking about this. And that's when I brought out the ring. And that's how I proposed. And thankfully,
Is she a morning person?
no, but thankfully,
She is now.
Heather's favorite place in the world is in bed. So like that felt good. But yeah, so it was just
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
She said yes.
I barely remember what I said.
Oh.
But then she said yes, and then we had like the perfect day that day. And it was also kind of good because like, you know, that whole area is wine country, so like the day before we had wine we had wine leading up to our wine in our motel room, but she was like, honestly, if you had proposed last night, like I would have been too tipsy to like fully like take it in.
Yeah.
So in a way it kind of worked out that I waited till the morning.
That's cool.
But then we had an awesome day where we drove around. It's that area, like, it's so, California is crazy because it has every landscape imaginable. But
It
like
does.
we drove around and it straight up looked like Scotland. It was like these big rolling green hills with cows everywhere, and we just like drove around until we happened upon a vineyard that happened to have a tasting, and again it was like just us there. So we had like a really nice day of
Did you tell the winery people immediately? Like,
No.
we just got engaged.
No.
What?
Oh, that's why
We
you
didn't
got
wanna-
engaged.
You're
Oh,
right.
come on,
We
yeah.
did that. We did that at a
Holy
restaurant
shit.
in town, and I think they like gave us a cupcake.
They're like, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Who were the first people you told?
I think our parents.
Did you call your parents?
Yeah,
I wasn't
but
sure.
we didn't.
That morning.
No, I don't think we did it that morning. I think we gave it a minute. We like had a little bit of a day, and then we started calling people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Aw, that's sweet.
Aww.
Do you have
Yeah.
anything for kindling?
Oh God, I was really stressed out.
It sucks though, because you have the ring, you don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
You're thinking about what you're gonna say in the back of your mind.
Mhm.
The whole time until you
Stressful.
do it.
It's stressful.
Meanwhile, Heather's like doopy doop on vacation. Did she
Yeah.
have any idea?
No.
Wow.
And I think that there were definitely previous trips we had been on where she was like, "It's this trip." We had like a perfect Ojai trip that would have been like the best time to propose.
Oh my God.
I'm sure that during that, I'm not sure if we've talked about this, but it would make sense if she believed that during that trip is when I would have proposed, but I didn't.
Did you have the ring?
No, I didn't at that point. But yeah, so that's how that happened.
So how far after from your not being able to light the fire and then you proposed and you have the great weekend from when you started actually planning the wedding? Was it immediate or were you like, let's just chill?
Yeah, we chilled for a bit. And then when we did land on New Year's, we were probably only like 6 months out. So we were like, okay, if we're doing this, we got to jump on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think then when Heather was on, you guys were, I think, settled on the idea of New Year's, but you had not locked in the location.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I didn't ever share the location because I thought it would be weird on the podcast.
That's funny because
Well, because it was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And it like could have been, not that I think anyone would crash, but I just felt like for privacy.
Oh,
reasons,
we
I
had
would crash it.
crashers. We did have
Oh,
crashers.
that's true, you did.
Yeah.
So now we can talk about the location since,
Okay.
anyway. So
Yeah.
it was the
Sportsman's Lodge.
yeah,
which
is
was
in
great.
Studio City.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's like an old school, like
Yeah.
from like the 70s era, right? Like hotel.
Older. That place has
Really?
been there
Really?
since like early 1900s.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, I like read up on the history of it, and it's pretty crazy. It was like early days of Hollywood. It was the only thing around, so like Clark Gable would hang out there.
Wow.
Nice.
Who knew?
Nice. But yeah, so it's very old. But the 70s is when they like tried to refurbish everything, so it still has that vibe.
that's what I was
But
getting.
it's a funky hodgepodge of like every era because they like would slowly update pieces of it, I think. But the dominant color everywhere in their decor is orange, which feels very 70s.
yeah, totally.
Um
That's funny.
but yeah, they were great. We went to friends of ours got married there in an outdoors area, and we were like, this place is cool, maybe this could be an option, and then it was.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard too because you're getting married at night in January, December, so
Yeah.
you can't have an outdoor option.
No.
Didn't do that.
Yeah.
But we used the Cascade room.
Ooh la la.
And you had crashers?
Well, you have to
Yes.
explain because I remember rolling up because I attended this wedding,
You did.
and
By the way,
roll
how
up,
many of the weddings you've talked about on here have you attended?
I will be attending Adam's
Okay.
over Memorial Day weekend. I have talked about Pam's.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about my own. I've talked about Michael and Miguel when they were on.
Yeah.
They
You crashed their wedding.
over dinner told us that they were going to the courthouse on Friday to get married, and I invited myself,
Okay. Sure.
which I have been told afterwards was a good thing, but to this day I'm like, that may have been overstepping.
All right.
I'm trying to think how many other ones. I went to Andrea's. I'm looking at the board of people.
Brittany,
I went to Brittany's.
Jessica, and Brian.
Jessica and Brian.
So I'm not
So it-
special is what I'm finding
But
out.
you're the first one where someone has been on beforehand and now after. So this
Wow.
is kind of
So you're getting-
and I talked about your wedding at one point trying to figure out what I was going to wear. I talked about that on the podcast.
We did.
Because I
We
wasn't
had a-
sure if
we had a
I should
question.
wear a shimmy shiny dress. Or
Yep.
should I wear like a shiny New Year's Eve dress? I thought that would be pulling focus. And then we discussed, is a red dress appropriate?
Oh, yeah. Why not?
I don't know.
I don't remember what you wore.
I wore a red dress. It's fine.
How dare you?
I know. Trollop. Anyway, so rolling up to this wedding
Yes.
and cool valet situation, feeling great. It's New Year's Eve. Had a couple glasses of champagne beforehand. Don't worry about it. And then we strut on in, and there's a sign, and there's one arrow pointed towards your wedding, and the other arrow says what?
Singles LA Singles Society New Year's party.
What?
But what that failed to mention is that this specific singles society is like exclusively 60 plus, like 60-year-old
Yeah, it's like seniors.
senior singles.
And it was,
Okay.
and they were there to party.
Yeah.
And you know who tend to have opinions on weddings is seniors.
Wait, what?
They were like, so many of them got there so early while Heather and I were taking family photos and stuff, and
Because
they
there was a really nice stairway.
yes, so
to
we
the
took some
entrance. Yeah,
family
it's really
photos
pretty.
there. And every now and then, an old person clearly who was there too early for the other party would like walk by and look at it and like have a thing to say.
Like,
oh my
what?
gosh.
One old man called me a nervous wreck. He was like, "You look like a nervous wreck," and I was like, "All right, I don't feel that way, but
Oh my
I
God.
guess that's,
Thank you.
that's just my vibe."
And also, like, even if you were, how does that help?
The best interactions were people walking into our venue while people were setting up and being confused and being like, "What is this, the party?" And they'd be like, "No, this is the wedding." And I had an interaction with an older man who didn't know where he was, and I was like, "Hi, can I help you?" And he was like, "Oh, this is the wedding." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And he was like, "I read the sign, Woodward Kantrowitz, a Jew and a Gentile." And I was like,
What?
I was like, "Yep."
And
he said, "The Gentile is the woman?" And I said, "Yep." And then he started to exit and he shouted, "Honey, I was right."
oh my
What does that mean? What does that mean?
Just means he really had me pegged.
god.
Oh my God.
But
So
like,
this is while you're still setting up the wedding. Like,
Yeah.
no one has arrived.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my,
my God.
thankfully, I was blissfully unaware of it while the wedding was happening. But like, at least 5 crashers from that party, either like intentionally or just confused.
But they definitely had very clearly marked which way to go.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
We like straight up set up an obstacle course for them. We like put a
Yeah.
chair with a sign on it that was like,
Go back.
"Go away."
It's the other way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it was funny and weird.
So,
One of my favorite
No.
favorite
Yeah.
photos that we took with our wedding photographer, who, oh God, side note,
Yeah.
this wedding photographer is a great photographer, Clay Larsen. Shout out.
Yeah, we'll send a
Shout
link.
Clay Larsen was our improv coach on the team that Heather and I met on.
Wow.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's fun.
And I don't think he knew that until he showed up to take the photos. Because like Heather got in touch with him because Heather and I were like, wouldn't it be great if Clay took our photos? Because we know he does wedding photography and that he's great at it. And he was there when we met.
Wow.
But I guess when Heather got in touch with him, she failed to mention that part. So on the day of, he was like, yeah, I didn't realize that. That's crazy, guys. That's great. That's great. Let's take some photos. Going back, long story short, he took some of my favorite photos are ones he took of us next to that ridiculous sign that's like wedding this way, single society that way. And like just very real photos of us looking at it being like
what the fuck?
this is crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was wild. It was fun interacting with them as the night went on.
Oh, God.
Because the way that the set, I'm sorry, Ruth
Ruth.
is done with her walk and
Ruth.
she's been fed and now she would like to join. Hi, Ruth. I know how much you love Ruth.
I really do.
She's
She's going
gonna
to her
sleep
bed.
in her bed.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye, Ruth.
Night, princess. So you guys had your own like bathroom set up, but there was also a huge bathroom on the second floor up the big fun staircase. So once I
Yeah.
figured that out, I was like, well, I'm gonna run up and down these stairs like
Yeah.
Scarlett O'Hara and Tara. But up there's like this whole like old school powder room setup. So like benches and at that point I'm just like drunk and just like, yeah, let's sit down and like play with my makeup. I'm just like, I don't know, I'm in a fucking tutorial like I'm a YouTube star in front of this mirror. But I kept interacting. I kept like doing the thing that I love to do, which is eavesdrop on other people's conversations. Man, those ladies,
Oh boy.
they had some opinions about those men.
Oh really?
They weren't great.
Yeah.
Oh,
The women were just like, ugh.
not happy with the.
They did not want to go back
singles.
out there.
Oh no.
Yeah. And the other one was like, just have fun.
It
It was
was-
like, kind of aggressive about it.
It was so clear how many of those older gentlemen were there to like make it happen.
Yeah.
There was one
It
like
was like New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the ladies are there to make love connections and the guys are there to get like laid on New
yeah,
Year's Eve.
Yeah.
There was one amazing moment I witnessed.
It was
one
like
of the
prom
few.
night all
It
over
really
again.
was. It really was.
It was.
There was one.
Something to look forward to.
Something never changes, man.
My one moment where I stepped outside onto the patio, it was like a shared patio, so there were some people from that party out there as well, and I witnessed a smooth as fuck older gentleman like confidently strut outside, like lock eyes with a woman and say to her, "Great minds think alike," and he like strut over and like took out a cigarette, and I was like, that dude
Wow.
is making it happen.
Was she in?
No idea. But like in his mind she was.
Yeah. He was
Absolutely.
like locking this down.
It was a fun flavor to the whole evening.
I liked it. It was definitely, I mean, you guys love comedy
Yeah.
and it was built in.
There it was. Yeah.
Situational comedy. So back to the actual wedding.
Yes.
So the way that you guys set it up is that you had it on New Year's Eve and then you wanted to have the ceremony before the countdown, right?
Yeah.
And how did you go about figuring out like the ceremony,
How
what you were
far
going to do
ahead?
for the ceremony since it was so unconventional?
We did for a minute. We thought about doing it right before the ball drop, essentially. Although there was no ball drop, we didn't have the budget for that. But
Have a ball come in?
yeah, but we realized that we would be drunk by then, and we didn't want to do that. So we front loaded it, and we just sort of like grabbed pieces of ceremonies that we found online or that we thought would like work well and just sort of created one together. And then vows we did separately. This feels like a solid pro tip that we sort of stumbled upon. I like wrote an insane like 3 pages of vows, and I was like, well, this clearly is not this is clearly too long. And so I didn't want to know what Heather's vows were. So I asked her for a word count, and then from there I was able to trim it.
Oh.
So like word count
Okay.
is a good
That's
was a very
smart.
I like
good
that.
indicator. Yeah.
Was your officiant was a friend?
Yes.
Who was
Jake.
that?
Jake Sprague.
Hi, Jake.
Hi, Jake.
Did Jake do any sort of his own, like setting things up, or did you just basically hand him the script?
We handed him the script, and there
Like,
was
don't go off book.
there was literally
Oh.
a part in it where it was like, insert joke here, Jake, and he fucking crushed it.
Really?
yeah. Because he was on Rococo, the UCB Herald team,
Yeah.
with Heather, and I was actually there the night he turned their show into a proposal. Did Heather
What?
mention that when she was on?
What?
No.
He like ended a show. He told the whole team, he was like, I'm going to propose at our next show. Is that cool? Are we all on board? And they were like, yeah. So they like sort of maneuvered the show to end in a way where they set him up to propose to his then girlfriend, now fiance.
Wow.
That's fun.
That's very cool.
It
Were
was
you
very
there
cool.
for that?
I was there for that. As was Heather, because she was on the
Sure,
same team as
sure.
him. Yeah, but yeah.
That's very cool.
Nice.
So do you remember the joke he told at your wedding?
Yeah, it was it was a line about how like we're happy everybody is there to celebrate with us, and we also want to take a moment to acknowledge all the people who like couldn't make it or like weren't with us anymore. And then we wrote insert joke here, and he said especially the people who canceled last minute or something to that effect.
I remember that
Yeah.
joke.
It was a very
It
good
was
joke.
biting.
He did a better job than me, but
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely like, and the people that said they were going to come and then
because
canceled
there
last minute
were
or something like that.
because there were some that were like fucking shitty, and Heather went on like a Facebook rant about it,
Because
and
people did this,
because
right?
people did this, and at first I was
They
like,
said they were going to come and then
yeah,
didn't come.
and at first I was like, Heather, I don't know
Oh.
about an angry Facebook post. I don't know if you need to do that, but instead it was like very cathartic. That's not a
Cathartic.
word.
Arctic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people, like it was either people who hadn't gone through the whole wedding drama before and were like, whoa, it's crazy this is happening, or it was people who had gone through this drama before and they were like, just you wait, this is other shit that could go wrong, or like here's the crazy shit that happened to me. So it was like kind of a good thing to put out there as like a stress reliever of
Sure.
like,
Yeah. I'm sorry. The dog needs you to pick her up.
I think she wants David.
Yeah. She's crying for you. She's heavier than you think. She's kind of a butterball.
oh no,
It's fine. She's just ticklish.
oh no.
Oh my God.
It's okay.
I just cleaned her and she's now dry. She looks so fluffy.
Oh,
So-
sweet girl.
This is important content on the show.
Stop
You
kissing
just
me, I'm a
made out with
married
my
man.
dog.
Oh,
She's
boy.
a hoe.
Oh boy.
So you had your own vows that
Yes.
you wrote,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had the insert joke here. But overall, it was pretty quick.
It was very quick, yeah.
I
We
do-
didn't want, what we mostly wanted was just a party to invite all of our friends to.
Yeah. Do you mind, just because I do remember your vows were quoting her.
Yeah, the opening was a quote. People told me after that they thought all of my vows was a quote, and I was like,
No,
no.
oh, no, I knew that
Oh
wasn't
God,
the case.
oh God, no. Yeah, I quoted a text message she sent me from our bedroom when I was in the living room, like 5 feet away. She texted me something like, hey David, hi, hey, I'm gonna marry the shit out of you.
Aww.
It was real cute.
She did. She did a
And
good
she
job.
did marry the
Did.
shit out of me.
So I want to talk about the personal style choices that you guys made for your wedding.
All right.
And how fun they are. We'll put up pictures.
Oh.
Because I didn't know ahead of time what exactly was happening. I sort of had a guess because I asked Erin if the shimmy dress would be good. And she was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Because Heather's wearing a shimmery dress. And then I was like, well, now I can't do it. So I didn't. I wore the red dress instead.
And Erin is Heather's sister.
Sorry, Erin is Heather's sister.
Yes.
And how I kind of know you guys begin with. Shout out to Erin.
Shout out,
I went to
Aaron.
college with Erin. So, you guys are getting married on New Year's Eve, already doing unconventional,
Mm-hmm.
rocking some sick outfits.
Yeah.
Please describe.
Yeah, because it was New Year's, gold felt appropriate, so we just sort of latched onto that. Heather, I didn't see her dress until the day of, but I knew that it would be gold. So I found a gold bow tie and some gold suspenders, which I liked, but also realized that like anytime I wasn't next to Heather, I ran the risk of just looking like a magician.
I thought you looked fun.
Okay, good. Fun.
So, and so you hadn't seen her dress ahead of time.
No.
Okay. When did you see? Did you get like a first look, like picture?
Yeah, we have
Nice.
those photos.
Nice.
I look like.
Were you like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
I did see her because she's an insane person. She sewed her what's it called? The
Bra?
No, it's like not a jacket, but it is. There's a official name for what her little
Starts
thing
with
was.
a B. Not a bolero. Is that right?
A bolero.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It was
Yeah.
a bolero, but she made that herself because she like couldn't find what she wanted, so she was like, I don't know, I'll just make mine.
That's
Oh.
cool.
So I saw her
Nice.
working on that for a while, and there was also a part of me that was, I at some point gently was like, "Are you sure you want to add another huge project to on top of like all of this wedding planning?" And she was like, "It's fine," and it was. She made it, and it looked really good. But
That's
so
cool.
I had seen that, but not the dress.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool, since you did do a wedding on a budget, and one of the tips you gave was do the New Year's Eve thing, because then you're
Yeah.
not really feeding people, which I
Yeah.
thought was super clever, because Heather
Yes.
kind of talked about that. But also, you guys did some DIY decorations.
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
We
Well, you did the spray paint.
Gold
we
spray
sprayed-
paint.
Yeah, spray painting Goodwill items gold is like kind of the perfect encapsulation of how we did this thing on the cheap. That was our centerpieces, table decorations, whatever you want to call it. And we bought a bunch of like Christmas light style things that we didn't really know. I know. We didn't like have a plan. We just were like, we'll get there early and figure it out.
Yeah.
Which really was just our families getting there early and figuring it out. But yeah, so it was really just like a lot of gold and black stuff thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
No flowers except like some baby's breath stuck in whatever spray painted gold things that could hold them.
I'm sorry, the dog. I don't know if she wants to get down. She's like wiggling her tongue. Now she's sitting. Does she want to get down?
She does.
What you're doing? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she's going down.
You did it.
Congrats, Ruth.
You did it, Ruth.
Pulling focus as per usual. So you did gold and baby's breath, and you did the lights, and that was pretty much it.
That's kind of it.
Because
Yeah.
you had a cool space.
Yeah, it was a cool, funky space. Like I said, that the Sportsman's Lodge has a weird, cool vibe because it's like every time era you can think of.
Yeah.
There are elements of. And it was a cool room because it had like a sunken dance floor, and just sort of like in general felt old timey.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
That's cool. I mean, it's the thing. If you do get a spot that already has a lot of character, like you can kind of calm down
Yeah.
with the decor. It's
Yeah.
a good tip.
When you had a
Hot
built-in party
Yeah.
with it being a holiday night.
Yeah. Exactly.
And let me tell you, that fry bar.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fry bar?
Let's get into it. I wish we
Fry
could take
bar.
credit for
Because
it,
you
but
did
that's
like pass apps early, and then you had the bar that was there, and then you had late night. You brought out a buffet.
yeah. At like the stroke of midnight, suddenly a bunch of different fries and dips appeared.
It was like tater tots.
Yep.
What?
Sweet potato,
Yep.
curly
Swirl
fries,
fries, yeah.
normal fries, and then every dip imaginable.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me hungry.
I just stood next to it and talked to Heather while like I didn't even get a plate. I just kept putting my like the worst guess. I was like, "Merp."
It really worked out because our original plan was just to like order pizza, but the hotel didn't allow outside food. So we were like, ugh, fine. What do you have to offer? And they were like, well, you could do a fry bar. We were like, what?
That sounds great.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it ended up being way better and a lot more fun.
And then what did you do? Again, I'm just trying to give tips for people doing DIY stuff.
Yeah.
You did something cool for the photo booth.
Oh yeah, I just had an app on an iPad, and I bought a ring light and a stand for the iPad, and we bought some sort of shimmery backdrop for it, and it was all
It was like a DIY photo booth.
like maybe definitely under $200 total.
That's cool.
And like renting one is crazy expensive.
Yeah.
It
Well, because
can
you're
be.
kind of renting people, because it usually it comes
Yeah.
with a person.
Yeah, and so we were like, fuck that.
Yeah.
There was like a brief moment of two brief moments of panic. One was there was a photo booth app that I knew was trustworthy for the iPad that when it came time, I had used it before for work actually, and then when it came time to put it on our iPad for our event, it was like totally different. They had gotten rid of a lot of the cool features and like then had a payment plan to use them, and I was like, no. So I had to do some searching, and I found one that was ultimately probably better, but it was sweaty for a minute.
Well, the pictures looked great.
Yeah, they came out all right.
Yeah. My God,
they're
that's
all right.
annoying. You're like, of all the things you have to deal with, like,
Yeah.
just add to the damn list.
Yeah.
Like, for a new stupid app.
Yeah, it was
And
dumb.
I'm sure this is after you like bought the ring light and the backdrop. And you're
Yep.
like, well, we have
Yep.
to
We're
fucking
doing
do
this.
this.
Yeah.
That ring light also like immediately was borrowed by a friend for their wedding, so like
Oh, cool.
it's a good investment.
Yeah.
And
you
I
go.
used it on a shoot recently. Just good to have.
Ring light. Who
Yeah.
knew?
It makes everybody look attractive.
It
It really
does.
does.
Everyone looks
Yes.
beautiful and their skin just glows. That's amazing.
Okay, so what, after hearing all of this, and I think I have an idea of what, at least in my mind, the fry
Yeah.
bar, but what was the best part and the worst part of the whole wedding process, not just the wedding night?
Wedding process. I weirdly did not enjoy our rehearsal dinner. It felt more stressful than I anticipated.
Why?
I'm not sure. I think that like
Were you just stressed out about the wedding?
no, I think that like it was our wedding was very low key and did not involve a lot lot of the planning you typically put into
Because you
a
didn't even
wedding.
do a rehearsal, right? You
no,
just
yeah,
had
no
the dinner.
rehearsal,
Okay.
Oh,
and like
okay.
no like seating charts or any of that stuff. I kind of wish we had done some of that for the rehearsal dinner, because what it was at El Coyote, an old classic Mexican place in
restaurant,
LA.
Yeah.
But like people just sort of like showed up and saw a long table and like didn't want to commit to sitting down. So like a lot of people would come up to me and Heather and be like, where do we sit? And then like servers would come and be like, people need to sit so we could start taking orders. And it was like a lot of like people looking to us to make this event chug along, and we were kind of like, we're overwhelmed. What's happening?
Yeah.
That sucks.
But
But that makes sense too, because you're kind of like, that's the last thing you think. You're like, everyone will be fine. But you're
Yeah.
like, oh, these are people that don't know each other. And if they're polite, nobody wants to overstep.
Yeah.
Oh,
And obviously it ultimately worked out.
Sure.
But it was, that was one of the few things where I was like, oh, this was not as chill as I anticipated. But a weird thing that happened is Heather has family friends, the Saltzmans, who grew up in Clifton, and my dad and his sister grew up in Clifton. And without knowing that about each other, they happened to choose to sit next to each other.
oh
What?
wow.
And I was very happy to like, while saying hi to people at tables, look at them and be like, have you made that connection yet? Have you talked about Clifton? And they were like, what? So that was a fun part of it. And we specifically wanted to do the rehearsal dinner for stuff like that, basically, where like we wanted it, for people coming in from out of town, we wanted to at least give them a meal and have more FaceTime with them. So it worked out, but yeah, it was like it was not my favorite part.
Well, you guys just kind of circling back before we get to the best part, I just remembering now because it's been a couple months. You guys had sort of an accelerated schedule with like the bachelorette party, the bridal shower, and the wedding all kind of in the same weekend.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because I wanted out of town friends to be there for the bachelor party.
Okay.
Likewise.
But you don't want to make people pay twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
exactly.
near the holidays too.
Yeah, and I didn't want to do something big and crazy.
And the shower, I think, was the same issue.
Shower, same thing. Yeah. Yeah. So it was like kind of a marathon of a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Because this is I don't know if we talked about it, but I hosted. This is the thing. I had your bridal shower, I guess Heather's, at my house, and everyone kept thinking that I like really hosted it, and I did. Like I just like opened the door, and Heather's family came in and did everything. Like her sister Erin came in the night before and did a lot of stuff, and then like the rest of the family came in that morning and just took over. Like I didn't cook anything.
They're crazy.
And it was so funny. They were like, "Oh, thank you so much." I'm like, I didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, you've been to Woodward Christmas parties.
Yes.
It's like I feel like it's all hands on deck.
Well-oiled machines.
It's a well-oiled
yes,
hosting machine.
they know what's up.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. They were just like, we're just going to take over your kitchen. We will figure it out. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, I remember being like, oh my gosh, she's having the shower. And then that night she's doing her bachelorette party. And then the next day, because I remember you were at your bachelor party and showed up to the back end of the shower.
Yeah.
So you were all doing this within like 4 days of each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was the shower, and then the next day was the rehearsal, and then the
Sounds
wedding.
right. Yeah, it was a marathon.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think that just sort of came out of the fact that there were a good amount of people traveling.
Yeah, and that's
that makes
that
sense.
perfect lull of like post-Christmas going into New Year's where most people are off work anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, let's just do this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, just wanted to throw that out there that's a potential for people.
Yes.
Because you guys did it.
We did it.
And it didn't suck.
No.
Just put down place settings for the rehearsal dinner.
Seriously, Jesus. People are so non-committal about where they'll put their butts.
Just sit down.
Just sit down. Oh my God.
That's what we want to make at a party. Just sit down.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right, the best.
Yeah.
Best, boy. I mean, the wedding itself was great, and it's hard to pick a best moment from that night. But I think we crushed the vows, and everything after the vows was just great. Like I remember definitely being nervous and like. We didn't like hide ourselves from guests as they were trickling in before the vows. And I remember just sort of like being a little overwhelmed by like saying hi to a different person every 2 seconds. But then like the vows happened. They were so fun and went so well. And then after that, it was just an awesome, fun night. And then it was just like a party and pure celebration. But I think the vows were the highlight for me.
Aw.
Good answer.
Yeah.
We accept that answer.
Cool.
So I feel like at this point we know who David is.
I think we know.
And we
yeah.
know
Oh, cool, guys.
what you think about weddings.
Yeah.
And is that you like them.
I like weddings.
And you're okay with a late night wedding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You will rock a gold bow tie.
I will.
Maybe
Yeah.
pull a rabbit out of a hat. I don't know.
Oh, God. When I'm not next to Heather.
And I'm back with Pam. Hey, Pammy.
Hi.
Thanks for calling in so that we can give the listeners what they really need, which are some bridal breaks and really some booze.
Yeah. Everybody needs a break.
Yeah. If you're a new listener, bridal breaks are just suggestions we give to not only brides, but anyone planning a wedding of something to do that is fun and has nothing to do with weddings. So you can step away from the kind of tedious and stressful work of putting together a wedding and enjoy your life for a minute. And remember that you're a human being that has other interests besides RSVP cards. So Pammy always gives a beverage. What is your break this week?
So as I was scrolling through Pinterest and like I do for hours, I found this and it really caught my eye. And I'm like, wow, it's starting to get warmer, at least here in California. Sorry, rest of the nation that's still cold.
Shout out to everybody that's dealing with snowstorms.
I know.
Literally, I
You'll
think
have
like
to-
the week we recorded this, there was like pounding snow coming in on the northeast. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically going to get winter and summer. I think spring is being skipped this year. So when summer arrives for you, this is a really good, it just looks really light and refreshing. And of course, sweet. But I found it on sugarysweets.com, and that's sugary with a SHUGARY, sweets.com.
Okay.
And it is called lemonade beer with cherry rum.
Ooh, okay. Lemonade. So it's like a cherry lemonade, but I guess like probably a lighter beer, right?
Yes.
Explain.
Yes. So it's frozen lemonade concentrate, a couple cans of water, just a little like splash of the cherry rum, not too much, and then 2 bottles of light beer. Mix it all together, and you get the bubbly from the beer and the little bit of sweet rum with the lemonade that's tart. I'm like, yes, I'm in. Yes to all of it. So there you go.
That sounds yummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
My bridal break for this week is a Spotify playlist called The Daily Lift. It is definitely just any new pop top 40, sometimes a little bit fringy on the top 40, sometimes a little more hip hop and kind of dance stuff, but it's all stuff that you could listen to in the morning while getting ready. The idea of the daily lift is like early in the morning where it's like pretty upbeat but not so aggressive that you're just like gonna get a headache. And I really like it because they constantly update it, so any sort of new song that's out, I always hear it if I'm listening to the daily lift. It makes me feel hip because I feel like lately I'm not listening to top 40 radio the way that I used to, but the daily lift makes it so that I'm not accidentally listening to the same albums over and over and over again.
I like
so
that.
yeah, like I think when Taylor Swift's newest song Delicate came out, like it was boom, that morning it was out. And I know Ariana Grande's newest single that just came out, I think on Friday, it was like on there immediately. So they're definitely on top of it. And then they'll slowly will take off songs that aren't as popular. But yeah, and I've gotten some really good like fun jams that way. It might be how I found Kim Petras, who you know is my queen. So
You love her. Yep.
shout out to the Daily Lift, a Spotify playlist that I definitely listen to a decent amount because again, it's good because it does keep switching. The only thing though is that if I like a song and it goes off the list, I have to make sure that I add that song to another playlist, my own personal playlist, before I forget, because they won't tell you ahead of time. It'll just like disappear.
Ooh.
But yeah, so the Daily Lift Spotify, I know it keeps you on your toes, man. Keeps me hip. So that's all the bridal
Nice.
breaks
That
for
sounds
this
fun.
week. Yeah, it's super fun. And then everyone has to listen next week when we get to part 2 of David's episode where we get into the confessionals, because he gives some sound advice.
He does.
He's a reasonable man. He is. He's a funny dude.
He-
But we also want to tell you all the different ways you can find out information about our show. Pammy, we like to do it in the form of a quiz. Are you ready to answer some questions?
Always.
There was a stall there. There was like you were thinking about it. Did you have to actually pump yourself up for this?
I love the quiz. Let's do it.
So if you want to find out more about our show, including show notes and extra pictures and information, where would you go, Pam?
You want to go to weddingconfessionals.com.
If you want to find us on social media, where are we located?
We're located at...
Is located weird?
Located? That's a weird word.
What social
You can find
media?
us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Instagram.
Yeah. We really want you guys to share your confessionals with us. Send us your confessionals, send us your questions and advice, give us all your hot gossip.
Yeah.
There are 3 different ways you can send it. It's always anonymous. The first way is an email address. Pam, what is the email?
The email is weddingconfessionals@gmail.com.
Or you can leave us a voicemail. Again, we will not reveal your name and we'll just write out what you say so you don't have to reveal your voice. That phone number is 434-933-2663. Again, 434-933-2663. And Pam, the other way you can send us your confessionals is to go to our website and hit on what tab, Pam?
Tell us your secret.
Yeah, tell us your secret. From there, you fill out a simple little form, only 2 little parts. One, it says name. You can put in your name or whatever name you want, whatever. And the second part is just a blank box where you just tell us your secrets. You write in whatever you want. You write in the confessional, you write in asking for advice, and you hit send. Don't need your email address, don't need your phone number. Just clickety-clack, send us your gossip, and hit submit.
Yep.
Pam,
Yeah.
we are on Apple Podcasts /iTunes. They always want us to be promoting ourselves on there. And the more rates and reviews we get, the higher we go up in the search engine so more people can find our show. What would we like them to do if they're on Apple Podcasts?
Well, my favorite number is 5. So you just want to give us 5 stars.
Yeah, we
While
want you
you're
to leave a
there.
review and give us
Awesome.
5 whole stars. I'm cool with you just going with your heart and speaking your truth and give the amount of stars you think that we deserve. But Pam wants to bully you into the 5 stars.
Yes.
And besides Apple Podcasts, I'm not going to time you, Pam, because I don't have anyone to help me. How else can you find what other podcast providers are broadcasting, airing, streaming?
All of it.
What other podcast providers have our show? I don't know what
Yeah.
verb we should be using.
Well, besides Apple Podcasts, you can find us on Google Play, Player FM, Stitcher, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Podcast Republic, Overcast, Downcast, Castro, Podcast Land, and Castbox.
Whoa, I thought you were going to forget Podcast Land. I even circled it being like, that bitch forgot it. But here you are sneaking it in at the last minute.
I did.
And that's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole show.
Yay. Enjoy.
And we will definitely see you guys next week for part 2 for our hilarious night with David. And we will see you guys then. Bye, Pammy.
Bye.
Special thanks to Andy Schreier for our adorable theme song, and to Ramsey Millay and Brian Maylard for their technical support, which we desperately needed.
Want to make sure you don't miss a single episode? Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud, and make sure to give us a 5-star rating, or I guess a 4 if you're being judgy like us.
If you have a crazy story to tell or need some advice, you can reach us by going to our website, weddingconfessionals.com.
Or you can email us at weddingconfessionals@gmail.com.
Or leave us a voice message at 434-933-2663. That's 434-933-2663.
And as always, we will never reveal the names in order to protect the innocent and the annoyed.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And if you're looking for those links, you can find those and more at our website, which you haven't figured out by now is weddingconfessionals.com.
See you guys next time.
Bye.